It seems that in this decadent day and age, the kidlets know little to nothing about All Dogs Go to Heaven. But really, can I blame them? It was overshadowed by The Little Mermaid when it hit the theaters, was a smash hit on VHS, and then had a sequel and cartoon series that only really lived on in the late 90s. Besides, I barely knew of it myself. If you can believe it, my copy of All Dogs 1 came from an adventure. When I was little, I came along with my parents to find a cache of secret lore from my people's goddess, Aralisi. What we found was certainly a secret, technology that not even dwarves had invented yet. Yeah, it wasn't easy to repair this infernal contraption, let alone use it. Good thing my dad's old mercenary troupe had an artificer. And despite everything, it is a movie I adored as a kid and an adult alike. So why don't I tell you more about it, so that maybe you might check it out yourself. Time for Auntie Razia to tell you Man Cubs' story, this time on Razia Explains. So there are these two dogs living in the Great Depression, somewhere in Louisiana Eagle Land, the wonderful city of Nolans, or New Orleans. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. One of these ones is Carface, who runs this cool casino in an abandoned metal galleon. He has literal rat races and everything, except the house always wins, especially when the house fucking cheats. Weird name. It occurs to me that if you put a noise before seeing Carface, you get the other dog was Charlie, a con artist with a taste in the arts, alleged heart of gold. He owns half the casino's assets, however that works. I don't know money. I'm a freelance adventurer. Round, shiny metal buys me what few things I need to not die. His platonic life partner, Itchy, sprung him out of the pound. They got blasted by plasma blunderbusses, or shotguns, yes. The guns in this movie are vaguely censored as energy weapons, kind of. That's probably not plasma, just buckshot, but more on that later. Despite the danger of getting melted or mulched, Charlie and Itchy escape. Carface is thrilled to see him again, yes? Everyone is thrilled, yes? Wag and Face ain't thrilled. Everyone else is thrilled though. There's a whole music number about how a scrappy lad always pulls through and kicks the major tail in the process. By proxy, everyone hates getting the nut from Carface, and it shows. Among making the place worthwhile to come to, this dramatic shepherd wants to spruce the place up the way he sees fit. I feel his plight. Give some dogs a reason to be swindled out of their life savings, because between green paper and bones, Earthrealm currency is weird in the 1930s. At least the cuts of beef Carface offers to his unwanted business partner, that makes sense to me. Come on, think about it. See it from my eyes, and from my stomach. I'm a cat, a big cat. Meow. Still, considering Earthrealm casino venues in this day and age, our alleged hero may have been onto something, and yet it appears that Carface doesn't want to share the business with his recently sprung business buddy. Time to take the dog out back and, you know the rest. Which Itchy finds out about, and is terrified that his buddy is going to get offed, or rubbed off. I kid. He's gonna try to go save Charlie by telling him the bad news. You see, Charles and the boys get sloshed at the Mardi Gras. Yes, that is actual beer. This dog does indeed get crunk. That happens. Then he's waiting for a surprise. What was that old expression? Long walk, short pier? Now, where have I seen this kind of surprise before in a movie? I ain't too worried about it. We have more pressing matters cause, oh dear. That's not the light at the end of the tunnel waiting for a drunken Chevy. That's an automobile. It's gonna crush him like a runaway wagon. But this is Kitsom, yes? Sure, Itch will come and save him and tell him and warn him and—
Can't keep a good dog down.
And he actually dies. Well, damn. Bluth is, as some might say, pretty fucking metal. But we've only just begun this tale. Our hero's spirit may have left the proverbial building, but has not left existence. In a flash of chiaroscuro, Charlie's ghost soon meets the Flying Nun. I don't get that reference, I haven't seen Star Wars. So, pink clouds everywhere, crystals and stars and such. Not exactly the fields of Elysium. This is the realm of heaven, and it seems nepotism is abound in this divine bureaucracy. After all,
this is the Great Hall of Judgment.
Judgment?
Oh, not to worry, Charlie. You'll go to heaven. All dogs go to heaven because, unlike people, dogs are naturally good and loyal and kind.
She said the thing. But Charlie is still attached to the mortal realm, and really, can I blame him? My order believes that the world should be cherished, albeit responsibly. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found, and his place in the circle of life came to a sudden end, against his will.
You mean I'm
Stone cold, I'm afraid.
Damn, he's not the only one. I do like deities with sass though, so I'm not complaining. Our dog's an awesome dog. So, Charlie said, we're real dead. Stone cold even. For now. Time for our hero, from a certain point of view, to revenge his demise. Playing the suave role of the suave rogue, Charlie half-inches a pocket watch representing his worldly lifespan. I tell you, angels looking like machines, or in this case using machines. Wrong lore. Back to doggos. It's like Charlie overclocks his lifespan using that pocket watch. I think that's how it works. Apparently, he enhanced his own life force, like overclocking a computer. He turns back the hand of the watch, turning away from his time of death. Symbolism, how does it work? Before long, the zombified doggo rises from his watery grave, a little green behind the gills after being rezzed, you get it. In the next scene, Itchy's having a bad dream. Charlie gives him a bad scare. The editor made a bad gif about what the strangling looks like. As Itchy barks the awful truths he's learned since his buddy kicked the bucket, it seems as if Zombie Bayou Dog isn't the only monster that was under Carface's command. A couple of his Goombas weren't keen on feeding a monster that the mob dog kept. Our two snooping dogs find out that Carface's creature is one of the real monsters all along. A human!
That's racist!
I kid. I have human friends. This is Anne-Marie. She's an orphan with the gift of gab. In other words, she can speak to aminals. As it were, Carface was using her to sway the odds in the literal rat races against his clientele. Let me repeat this for those in the back. The house always wins when the house fucking cheats. Against Itchy's wishes and denying his buddy's hubris, Charlie decides to spring the girl from the galleon of greed. Self-serving altruism is still altruistic now. This one hopes so. The company she keeps, the things she sometimes does. The three thus lay low in the junkyard. Charlie learns the ups and downs of babysitting, and I don't think that's how you read books. Itchy isn't fond of Anne-Marie, nor cutting the rogue's share with the skirt, not even her raggy rag skirt. At least Charlie seems to have some good deep down, though his might be really deep down. No one with a pink Saluki in heaven can find any good deeds of his, or is she a whippet? Or is she a whippet? I don't know, dogs, I'm a cat. Wow. At this point, it's easy to say he's just leading the child on to get her trust. At least he's faking it for now, doing more than Carface ever did. Besides, what better way to oppose Carface than for Charlie to make his own casino, with blackjack and harlots? I mean, it'd fit the cover story the crook gave for Charlie's retirement too, wouldn't it? And what better way to backstep Carface than to use his own trump card against him? In due time, Anne-Marie's special gift will soon help Charlie fill his coffers to engage Operation Carfuck. But yeah, blues movies are both metal and weird. You know, like heavy metal, but a kid's film. As for this classic trick at the racetracks, I suppose it works better to have a human head on top, and you know, not a stuffed animal head that may or may not be an actual tiger person, unless they can see this as a tiger person, and are clearly biased against cats, in which case...
That's racist!
Using her gift in the stables under Charlie's suggestion, Anne-Marie soon learns that racehorses also like to cheat, just on their birthdays, just as a treat. Say, the Grand Shahi, against all odds and fair play for the gamblers, wins by the skin of his buck teeth. Too bad Charlie had the paranormal equivalent of Biff's sports almanac. Cheating bastard horses. You know, they say gambling is a fool's tax. With his insider info, though, Charlie has become the tax man. Victory after victory at the expense of others, and the Sheppy makes bank. Despite his avarice, we also see more than the glimmer of gold in this montage. We see a glimmer of kindness in Charlie's heart. Noticing that his golden ticket is shedding tears over her threadbare wear, they go on a shopping spree for new duds. And we're back in the game. By the way, take note of this scene. Clearly Charlie gets tunnel vision from his own ambitions, but do pay close attention to how the mutt reacts when he realizes he's gotten too selfish, or when he's called out about it. It won't take very long to get to that last bit, but for now, after Itchy's handiwork, Charlie's place is open for business, all its glory. Hip hip huzzah. So, about calling him out. They say that children aren't as dumb as adults may think, and Marie may prove that true. She isn't convinced that Charlie is the Robin Hood he described himself as earlier when he read bedtime stories to her. Perhaps it would have helped if she was born a little bit later and saw the furry bait Robin that people retroactively fawn over these days.
What is this? What are you doing?
I'm leaving. You said we were gonna help the poor, and we didn't. You promised to find me parents. You didn't even look.
Gifts to the poor, right? Easily done. Our canine con man's got just the tonic to regain her trust. We're given a cheesy scene of Charlie delivering some cheesy pizza to... Oh. You know, it's kind of implied that the mother dog Flo here had a fling with Charlie and that these are his kids. So, self-serving altruism, yeah? Hey, wait. Oh, my bad. It seems that the editor wrote the script out of order. How about that? There's another scene we got for the Pizza-tastic showtone. More than one, in fact. First off, Carface is well aware of Anne-Marie's absence by now. He's irked that his ace in the hole is out of her hole. Not only can his goons not find her, but then he hears his old business partner not only survived the hit, but now has his own casino up and running as competition, with blackjack and show dogs. So, what does this mean for a second in command?
Nothing personal, killer. Business.
Well, damn. At least he's resourceful. I didn't bring up fish bait yet. He was there at the Mardi Gras when Charlie got crunk. He also got squeamish when some ketchup blood symbolism happened. And this poor fellow was Killer, because if this wasn't a self-given name to look tougher than he feels, then his owner was a dick. Maybe it's a nickname from Carface and his goons, who are also dicks. Hard to tell. At the last second before getting his dog meat cleaned off the bone, Killer has found a way to save his life. No, not by overclocking it like the dead dog Walking Dead. He proposes a more direct way to slay Charlie. His weapon of choice? It is a feared and reviled weapon of the Great Depression, the Roaring Twenties, and is fresh off the scene of World War I. It's a weapon to fill the cobblestones of New Orleans with Charlie's blood, just like it would fill him's body with holes. For Killer is in possession of the one and only Chicago typewriter, the dreaded Thompson submachine.
A Flash Gordon thermo-atomic ray gun, boss.
A ray gun.
Remember when I brought up the guns in this movie during the pound break scene? Where I joked the shotguns were spraying hot plasma and not hot lead? That's because this movie seems to have censored guns into energy weapons, a very 1980s thing to do. The design is clearly a Tommy gun in a later scene, and already it's a fearsome weapon. This thing can sling pistol balls in rapid succession, a much more ferocious weapon than the flintlocks and matchlocks in my neck of the woods. But clearly, riddling a dog full of holes is still okay, so long as it's only shooting energy beams, not bullets, right? I suppose it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to my violent tale. Censored or not, it still get the job done for these mafia dog ass.
Ass. Hole. Ass. YouTube makes a lot of sense.
So, kids aren't stupid, and Marie proves this again at the tail end of the pizza sharing song. She discovers a wallet from an earlier scene, one that Charlie had filched from a young married couple. Without that theft, Charlie would have no money for a bet, and therefore, the Grand Chahi's birthday would mean nothing to him. And thus without it, Charlie's place wouldn't exist, and his revenge would be fruitless. It always hurts to have your prayers confirmed. It's hard to tell if Charlie only feels bad because he got caught, or if he truly feels bad for tricking Anne-Marie. But for now, even if she doesn't know it yet, perhaps Anne-Marie has a way to make her own dreams come true. But for Charlie, his dream is about to become a nightmare. I wasn't kidding about that last part. Out of the two most infamous scenes of this movie, this is one of the two. It's as you can see, a vision of hell. There was a certain warning that Charlie was given once he wound his clock back.
You can never come back.
As you already can tell from the lore of this movie, apparently all creatures' life force is represented by some sort of clock. By cheating death, Charlie gained more than he bargained for. The gods do not play dice, and reality itself does not like being messed with. At this point, not only will Charlie once again die once his clock reaches 0, like my computer dying when I try to overclock it, but doing so seems to have wiped his warranty on paradise. Thus, his soul is now forfeit. He is condemned to the bad place. Perhaps this is only the Flying Nun warning Charlie of the consequences, trying to appeal to his good side that she had seen in him, the good that all dogs have in them, and by proxy, a potential to change their ways that everybody has in them. Or maybe it's all just a bad dream. Who can tell? We know not what's beyond the veil of death. And Charlie only got a glimpse before he noped the F out of there like a bat out of... you know the rest. In the morning, using her amazing street urchin skills, Anne-Marie has tracked down the Wallace owners. I am an obligate carnivore by nature of being a lion, but my goodness, does this movie has some food porn. The young couple in question ponder what to do with the girl, knowing that they can't just let her back out onto the streets. Like, bitch can't live in a fucking trash can. They know this, we know this, I know this. But uh-oh, it's bad boy Charlie Bargain, fresh from his childhood trauma-inducing slumber. Manages to con Anne-Marie once again to hang out with them, and then we get to perhaps the wackiest part of this movie. For those in the know, this is the second infamous part of this whole damn film. If you know, you know. If you don't, here goes. So, Marketplace, Flash-Gordon Thermo-Atomic Ray Gun. You know, I don't think firearms are supposed to glow at that, or go pew-pew-pew. So, sure movie, we'll play it your way. The Laser RCW from Fallout New Vegas tears up the place, but surprisingly not Charlie, and to escape the chaos. Somehow. Only Charlie loses his watch, somehow, and begins to panic, and the chaos continues as they fall down into a waterway. Somehow. And then they run into tribal rats who may as well be goblins. About that. And Anne-Marie cannot understand these tribal rats, because in her own words, they talk weird.
I can't, Charlie. They talk funny.
I don't care.
And then, there's this huge subterranean, waterlogged shrine to their crocodile idol, who just so happens to be a ginormous fucking crocodile.
Squeaker! We're gonna die.
Where both human and animal sacrifices with big folk all took place. Do you get how fucking dumb this scene ends? You know, before Charlie gets forward here, his melodic wail of impending damnation triggers something in Big Lipped Alligator. They end up breaking out into fucking song and dance. Somehow. A trope namer is born, for that fucking matter, as the aquatic musical number all takes place here. Somehow. So, there you go. Luckily, this could all be explained away as his fever dream, because Anne-Marie develops a fever. Wait, that's a bad thing. Before we reconvene back at Flo's pad, we see Itchy after hours at Charlie's place. The trouble is, the other night staff are probably sleeping with the fishes by now. I say this because now it's Itchy's turn to get whacked. Whacked off. I kid. He does get jumped, though. Flo diagnoses that Anne-Marie's pretty sick. She'll need a human doctor, or at the least, a potion of penicillin or something. Before they can really discuss too much about this, though, let it be known that misery loves company. It doesn't take long before Itchy shows up. He survived the beatdown from Carface's thugs. Charlie's place, however, is no more. In a miserable heart-to-heart, Itchy speaks about his struggles about staying loyal to his best friend. How Charlie's revenge, in spite of everything Itchy said against it, from all his insight, from all his anxieties, from all his guff, Charlie's revenge, as well as his place, is now all up in smoke. When it rains, it pours. Something in Charlie snaps, or maybe it's just the truth coming out. At the end of the day, when confronted about Anne-Marie, he says a lot of things that I really hope he didn't mean.
It's just business.
You're in love with the girl. You've gone soft. You care about her.
Look, I don't care about the girl. I tell her things now and then.
I pretend to be your best friend, but it's baloney.
I thought I was your best friend.
You are my best friend. With her, it's just business. It's always been business. I'm using the girl. And when we're done with her, we'll dump her in an orphanage. Is that okay with you?
Sure, boss. Anything you say.
Too bad, and ailing Anne-Marie has no reason to trust him at this point.
You're not my friend. You're a bad dog.
Anne-Marie!
To this day, the scene still cuts like a knife. And sometimes when it rains, it snows.
Carface! Anne-Marie!
At his lowest moment, the only way this dog knows is up. Despite everything, he is still loyal to his loved ones. One way or another, Anne-Marie's not staying with Carface. At Flo's advice, Itchy grabs proof of Anne-Marie's danger and is directed to bring in the young couple. While they may prepare to call the guard, along the way Itchy calls for the Legion. All across the city, late at night. But for a good cause. Back at the Galleon of Greed, for one night only, Charlie returns to put on showstopper. True shame is in his long face and tone, and though he got in just fine, he wasn't expecting an ambush. The neighbors must be livid. And yet our hero is outnumbered. Why though? Oh, and you thought we were done with him. What the actual fuck? Said the line. Okay, sure, Deus Ex Crocodilus. Catharsis. And every now and then when it snows, it's a fucking blizzard. And impending vor. By now, after my play-by-play, you can tell everything is gone to Tartarus in a tote bag. The metal ship is sinking. The oily water is ablaze. Anne-Marie is still in the fatigued throes of her fever. Charlie can't risk his watch getting wet. Not again. But neither can he let his squeaker die. Not because of him. Not because of his inaction. Not because of his greed. Not like this. Never like this. When it all comes down to it, he makes his choice. Anne-Marie goes. And Charlie stays. I regret to inform you all of a sad fact of life. Sometimes heroes die. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And if that's true, then what more could be said about they, whose good intentions were few and far between?
Squeaker. I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry.
But sometimes there are things in this world worth dying for. And for people, all the more. And perhaps, that's all that matters in the end. At the end of the day. At the end of one's life. Charlie's sacrifice may not have erased the consequences of his actions, but here, it was enough to redeem his soul.
Charlie, you can come home now.
You said
Charlie, you gave your life for her. Come home.
But what about Anne-Marie?
Say goodbye, Charlie.
We see the good in his heart shine through at this final hour. His shame towards putting his best friend Itchy through all of the grief just to get back at Carface. And not just the little things he did for Anne-Marie along the way, but having the courage to face her after he used her for so long, and to try to rescue her from the fate that Carface had in store for her all over again. And he was even loyal to Flo, and not to mention all the regulars for that now sunken ship who had adored his return from the pound, while mourn his demise. As Charlie goes to heaven, having said his goodbyes, he and we together have been blessed with a little bittersweet ending. And thus, our captivating little tale ends. You see, there's something special to Don Bluth's point of view. I joked about this earlier, but it is something I really do believe in. It's this idea that you could tell a child any story so long as it has a happy ending. For my editor in their youth, it was the darkness of The Lion King that made that movie's triumphant ending so joyous. Who knows, maybe if it had a miserable ending, I wouldn't be here. Doing this video, of course, I'm just saying it's a good movie. Take it from the lion to be a little bit lion-biased, right? With that said, I will confess, I hadn't seen this movie first of the franchise. That was the sequel. The tape for All Dogs 1 collected dust. Like, I'll also confess, I was something of a coward as a cub. Maybe something in the original scared me. Can't imagine what. And I instead reached for the sequel first. There are people who felt like the tone of the sequel left something to be desired, but I don't know, I still liked it. Maybe I'll save that one for a rainy day, but today is not that day. Today, I want to say a little bit something more. Personally, I believe that All Dogs Go to Heaven, in its entirety, is indeed something to be remembered. I wouldn't go forth to do all of this if I didn't believe so. But I also believe that the franchise was something firmly fitted to the 1990s. Heck, the original came out just a year before, in 1989. I don't think I need to explain that in this day and age, soulless remakes and nostalgia blindness, they're a pretty common trend, are they not? Just like Robin Hood, who I mentioned earlier, that's been retold many times over. But the less I say about certain reboots of things from the 90s and the early aughts, the better. So, Iracia the Seeker have finished explaining All Dogs Go to Heaven. And that makes the rest of this even harder. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to explain the elephant in the room before it's all over. It's been a long time, hasn't it, since this movie's been out. A good 30, 40 years. This one is not good at math. It is a well-known and tragic fact about what happened to the voice actress, Judith Barcy, but I regret to inform you all that she is not the only member of the cast to pass on. Dom DeLuise, and Burt Reynolds, and Vic Tayback, and even Charles Nelson Riley had also passed away. And even recently, as the editor was putting together the final touches on this video, they had found out too that Ken Page had also passed away. From the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful to those who gave their voices, who put on quite a show for all of us, were able to tell this fun and weird and scary and bittersweet story about a roguish dog trying to get back at another roguish dog, and who manages to become a hero in the end, just because of a little girl who opened his heart. I don't want to end this review on a downer here, so let me end it like this. This really is one of my favorite cartoon series, one of my favorite animated movies. I really do appreciate the sequel, and if not for that sequel, I wouldn't have loved the original. I wouldn't have given it a shot. If you ever want me to cover All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, maybe even some episodes of cartoon, if you're feeling spicy, you know where to find me. But to you, my audience, Iracia, thank you. We had some good laughs, scares, thrills, and tears. And this one could use a good rest. But seriously, this is the longest video yet. Wait, you mean to tell me I'm supposed to do what for Halloween?